with your choosing light. Our time is now. It's only right for us to give our people the code. Introducing the 10 Black Commandments.
We've been programmed for years. It's time we wrote our own manual to rise above, follow code, and get tangibles. A step-by-step scripture for us to get our people intact. Bring my art back. Rule number 1, I will always love myself. That's the core to the wisdom, strength, beauty, and health. Eat good, live long, think abundance and wealth. Most of all, make sure my experience felt. Number 2, black first, go hard for the group. Check the date, we've been conquered by you, Rugu. They raped and killed the planet for resources and goods, but as soon as we get on cold, the whole earth gonna be good. Number 3, warrior mode, protect community, physically, mentally, financially. Remember how they did us back in Black Wall Street. See, they ain't playing fair, we gotta train like Marines. Number 4, protect your fam at all costs. These cowards shoot kids and fake cry in court. The 5th is the key to us ending this war. We gotta share resources, show each other support. And on 6, I commit to educate my people. Ignorance is bliss, but intelligence is regal. 7 on my side, I'm gonna fight for my people. Maroon in my blood, I am not your good Negro. More like Bass Reeves, Jack Johnson, John Horse. Nice with the pistol, hand in hand, knife work. 8 live great cause the babies is watching. It's only right we show them more positive role models. And 9 is to be a better person every day. Promise to keep growing and learning in every way. Promise to live today better than yesterday. You see, heaven on earth is for those who partake. Number 10, I'm gonna leave a legacy and send power and enlightenment to all my future kin. Lead a planet better for generations to win and carry a pure heart so the gods let me back in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
The 10.
Oh man, anybody that know me, you know your girl, Dr. Maat, is a hip hop head. Peace to all of my thinkers and true speakers. Welcome to another powerful discussion with your sister, Dr. Maat. Look, I'm trying to fix these headphones, family, because you know I got these barrel twists, and the barrel twists are big, and I'm like, oh my God, trying to get these headphones together. But family, I missed y'all. Did you miss me? Because I definitely missed you all. I haven't been live for a few reasons. One, I've been at work, you know, the students came back, you know, shout out to MSU. The students came back a couple of weeks ago. And then 2, family, I had a damn foot injury. I was on a track running, trying to be healthy and lose some weight, man. And I fell, boom. And then, you know, twisted my ankle. So I was kind of, you know, up with my foot. And so I can't sit here even as long as I would want to tonight. That's why I told my big bro T, who's backstage, I said, bro, we got to do an hour. And I got to get up out so I can prop my leg back up. All right. But anyway, happy to see you. Missed each and every one of you. Shout out to my family on IG. I see you, family on IG. Peace and love to my family on IG, man. Y'all been showing me a lot of love, watching and sharing my videos. I see you. I appreciate it. You all comment. You send me stuff. Appreciate you, love you. I see the Maadian family on YouTube is here in the building. I see B1 for Life is in the building. Peace and love to your family. I also see Black Ace is in the building. Peace and love to your Black Ace. And oh, IG, look, I don't want you all to think I'm showing favoritism, okay? On YouTube, I can actually post the comments. I can't do that on IG, all right? But anyway, shout out to my brother, Black Ace. He says, peace and love and respect to you and your family, doctor. Peace and love to you. I see the Queen Mother, beautiful mind, is in the building. She says, peace to everyone, Peace and love to you, Queen Mother. I definitely missed you, Queen Mother. I see Amin is in the building. Hope I didn't butcher it with that Baltimore accent. Peace and love to you, Amin. I see you, family. I see you. Brother Khalil is in the building. Peace and love to you, Brother Khalil. I see you. Peace and love. Peace and love. Who else we got in the building? I see the Great Hustle 843 is in the building. Peace to you, beloved. Peace to you, beloved. The Melanated Cafe, my brother, is in the building. He says peace and black power. Peace and black power. You know, I missed you, King. You know, I missed you. I missed you, man. So happy to see you back in this space. Peace and love to Sister Marcia Pender. She said, get better, sis, soon. Definitely. And look, Brother T and I talked about revamping the Read Book Club. So we definitely going to, you know, set a start date for that. So, you know, I need you on there, Queen. I need you tuned in. I need you plugged in with the seeds. I see my brother Steve is in the building, says greetings from St. Louis. So the Maadian family is definitely in the building. I see my Aunt Segmet is in the building with the red, black, and green. Ashe, oh, to my auntie that's in the building, man. And I see you on IG. I see you on IG. The Husk One. I see you. I see you. Coda, I see you. At Bay, I see you. I see a lot of y'all in the building. Hotep to your family. Hotep, and Black excellence. All right, so family, you see the title. Kamala Harris, her opportunity economic plan or economy plan. I think it's called opportunity economy plan. I'm sorry, then butchered that. But her opportunity economy plan, we're going to discuss that tonight. We're definitely going to discuss the Democratic National Convention. And I did put Cornel West, his name in the title, because a video did come out, man, where he criticized Kamala. He's like, I'm not a fan of her. And he made some really, really good points. And some of you might say, Dr. Maat, you're going so hard. Why are you banging so hard on the Democrats? Why are you banging so hard on them, Doc? I see you going at them. You're not going at the Republicans like you're going at the Democratic. Yeah, the Democrats. And you're like, well, Doc, some of you actually think I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not. I don't have a dog in the fight. Okay. Let's be clear, right? Let's be clear. I'm not caping for Trump, and I'm not caping for Kamala. Okay. But some of you like, man, but you're going hard with the Democratic Party. Let me tell you why. The Democrats take down 90% of the Black vote. And what have we gotten? We've been voting Democrat since Roosevelt ran as the poor people's president and got, he ran, that was his campaign. He was the poor people's president, right? That was the propaganda. And we, the Black community, stood behind him and elected him as president in 1933. Fast forward, we're looking at 91 years. We've been what you would consider Democrat loyalists, the Black community. They could always count on our vote, no matter what. And right now, Black people are saying we're tired. Black people are saying, man, we are tired, man. We are tired. We vote. We do this every 4 years. And there are things we're asking for that we're just not getting. You've been just neglecting us. You come to us for our vote, we give it to you, then you neglect us for 4 years, and we do it again and again and again. They take down 90% of the Black vote. So I'm on my Harriet Tubman tip. When Harriet Tubman left the plantation, she just didn't stay away from the plantation. She went back to get her people. Ashe, I'm coming back to get my folks off the Democratic plantation. I'm coming to get you. And I'm saying, look, we don't need to be loyal over here. And y'all are fighting me. A lot of you are fighting me just like they fought Harriet Tubman. No, it's good over here. Massa gives me food. Massa gives me a place to live. Massa gives me his hand-me-down clothes. I'm all right. That's what y'all doing to us. I'm all right. You right? I'm all right. Harriet Tubman pulled a gun out. She said, you better get your ASS and come on. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm coming over to the plantation to get my people. I left the Democratic plantation years ago. I'm just coming back to get my people. And I'm saying, damn, look, if you're going to vote for the Democrats, at least get something for your vote. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to vote and you're going to be loyal to a party, at least be loyal to a party that's doing something for your people. That's what I'm saying. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring on my big brother, JT Coin Rings. Brother JT, peace and love to you, warrior. How are you doing?
What's going on, Dr. Maat? What is going on, family? It's always good to be in the house. But before we go any further, we have to give the good doctor some credit for building great platforms on every platform that you see her on. From IG, she banging the truth, continuing to put things that we need to hear, things we need to study. On YouTube, she bangs the truth, not diluted at all. She comes straight chaser. You got to give her props. On TikTok, everywhere she goes, and she just don't stay on these platforms. Where else does she stay? The woman is out in the community. You understand? Every time you want something done, not just for yourself, but for your kids, she out there putting programs together in Baltimore and abroad, not just in the city, not just in the States. This woman goes out of the country to put in the work. And I just want to say thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your continuance of excellence and making sure you keep, not you keeping it on their neck. You hear what I say? And congratulations, because you're almost at 20K here on YouTube.
you so much, big brother JT. I appreciate you. I used to remember me and JD used to always talk about, she said, my brother is your biggest fan.
That's most
My brother is
definitely.
your biggest supporter. And you have. I truly appreciate you, your time, your energy, your wisdom, your love, and your support. And it's just been consistent over the years. I think when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, about early 20s, late teens, early
Yes.
20s. Now I'm in
Yes.
my early 40s. So it's
Yeah.
crazy how we've, the relationship just have grown and
That's right.
grown. And I appreciate you, brother,
You
more
went.
than
You
you
seen
know.
me with no beard to a beard to gray in the beard.
I love it. I
Got
love
my
it.
Frederick
I
Douglass on.
love it. I love it. I love it. I've seen you grow as a man, as a father, as a
Thank
husband, as a brother. And I'm trying to tell you, I love you to death. Everybody know I love my brother JT Coins. And
Most definitely.
I see, and you're doing a lot of good work too now. Could you talk about your platform and the stuff that you're doing? Because your videos. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. A couple of your videos got a million views. And I'm like, whoa. So I'm
Hey,
trying to be like you when I grow up.
Just out here doing the work. I'm a lover of coins. My name is on the platform. It's called JT Coin Rings, where I talk about my coins and the rings that I make out of them. So I'm just out here trying to do a positive platform and show people that they can collect silver and gold, not just to wear, but also to collect, to give out to next generation. We have to learn about commodities and how this world uses commodities to build wealth. So I do it in an easy, fun way on my platform, JT Coin Rings. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about it, sis.
No, I love it. I love it. I love what you're doing. I got to send you my ring size so I can get my Booker T. Washington.
Oh yeah, we
My
got
Booker
that.
T. Washington ring, man, because Booker T. That's one of my, I don't want to say favorite ancestors, but one of my most, I guess I don't want to say most revered, because I respect them all the same. But he's one of my highly respected ancestors. And
Most
so
definitely.
to have like a ring, something that I can wear,
Misunderstood. He was misunderstood.
Yeah, he was misunderstood.
But I'm so glad we had the platform to talk to the author who wrote an excellent book that kind of let people know that he was a man that stood on business for real.
Absolutely. Booker T. Washington in Africa by Dr. Tarim Wright. Family, make sure that's a really, really good book. That's a really good book. Make sure you get it. It's a short read, but a powerful read. And by a short read, I mean like barely 100 pages, maybe about 100, 110 pages.
135.
Oh, 135. Look, brother, 135. 135. I remember that number. But I'm telling you, family, that was a great, great book. And and some of you may not have time to read the book, and that's fine. All you have to do is go to the YouTube search engine, type in Booker T. Washington in Africa, read book club. And all of our discussions will come up. And as brother JT said, man, you see different some of the discussions, the author actually joined us for some of the discussions. So awesome. It wasn't just us talking about the book. She actually came on and we asked her questions like, well, did we interpret this correctly? And she's like, yeah. And then she would add extra, information that wasn't discussed in the book. So make sure that you all check out those those books. And let me also plug 3 books that everyone should have in your library. The Hidden Cost of Being African American by Thomas Shapiro. All right. The Color of Law. There's my big brother JT put me on with this. The Color of Law.
Big plus.
By Richard Rothstein. Okay. And also right here, The Color of Money, Black Banks, and the Racial Wealth Gap. So Brother T and I are going to be talking about Kamala Harris' opportunity economy plan and some of the things that were spoken about at the Democratic National Convention. And this is the perspective that we're coming from. This is the perspective that we're going to be coming from. Okay. Because these books help you understand the condition of Black folks. And I'm talking about the financial condition of us, why America's segregated, why Black folks, a lot of us don't qualify for loans. There is a hidden cost, literally, just because of the color of your skin. There's a cost associated with it when you're born into this world. Just coming into this world as a Black American, there's a cost associated with that. The quality of education that you receive, the neighborhood that you're able to live in, your opportunities are impacted right? Financial and non-financial, just because of the color of your skin. This is a white boy that wrote this, by the way. Okay. The color of law. Why, man? Why is America so racially segregated, man? Why was it that the white folks were living in the suburbs for a while and the black folks were living, in the city, and now the white folks are trying to come back into the city? But what happened? Because the white folks were in the city at one point too, Brother T. Remember, everybody was in the city, but then it was a white flight to the county. This explains that, family. Those policies that racially segregated America. This book right here, family, The Color of Money. We run around, we got a bank black. We got a bank black. Well, we tried the bank black.
That's right.
Since the 1800s, and it didn't work. And it's a reason why it didn't work. And see, these type of books help you not fall into the trap.
That's right.
When you hear these celebrities, man, we got to put our money in black banks and do this. We did that. It didn't work. And it's a reason why it doesn't work. So I wasn't listening to Killer Mike. Y'all were. Y'all listening to Killer Mike and T.I. convince you to put your money in black. So, oh, this is a way we can build wealth. Black banks have never built black wealth. And that's a fact.
That's right.
And see, when you read books like this, you don't get caught up in the traps. Okay? You don't get caught up. So anyway, Brother T, I want to start off by playing a clip. And I played this clip before, but I want to start off by playing this clip of Kamala. She's sitting with Steve Harvey. And I played this maybe like when it first happened. I played it. But from about the 4-minute mark to maybe the 7th or 8th minute mark, she starts talking about black people and why black people don't apply for business loans. And now I really want to carefully analyze what she's saying with you. Okay.
Right.
So here we go. Here we go. Let's listen to her. So she's speaking, family, at this, I want to say it's a hotel, and it's an organization. It's 100 black men. And so she's talking to this crowd with Steve Harvey. So it's a lot of men in the crowd, and she's talking about, her economic plan. But here we go, family. Let's analyze this.
To 100 black men, to this organization, because I know who everyone here is. This is a room.
Do you hear a buzz sound, Brother T? Or is that me?
That's in their video.
It's in their video. Okay, it's in the video. Okay. So, family, let's try to bear with the buzz sound. But here we go.
Full of leaders of every age who can help get the word out about what we have made available, because it's so important people take advantage of what's available. So I'm doing this tour to highlight the importance of speaking truth about the obstacles that have existed for access to capital, for home ownership, for black folks, and what we are doing to actually deal with those obstacles in a way that we create opportunity. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. So, for example, what we're doing around reduction of debt forgiveness, what we are doing to address the racial wealth gap as it relates to a number of issues, including access to capital for our small businesses and entrepreneurs, what it means in terms of housing discrimination, and the work that we need to do and will continue to do to address those issues. And really the essence of this tour is born out of a belief that people need more than just what is necessary to get by. We want to get ahead. And we know that it is important that we have reduced Black unemployment to historic lows, but that's a baseline, which is that people.
Now, I had a question about that, Brother T, when she said that they decrease Black unemployment to historic lows. Right now, I mean, even just looking at Chicago, for example, the Black unemployment rate, the Black unemployment rate is through the roof, even in Detroit. And I'm talking about, I get calls from people with boots on the ground. So this isn't anything that I'm, reading on the internet or seeing on YouTube or, social media. People with boots on the ground are calling me in Chicago, calling me in Detroit. Okay. A sister in Detroit, a brother in Chicago. And they're like, the unemployment rate for Black people is through the roof. You know what I mean? And so I'm wondering where they're getting these numbers from, that it's like at an all-time low, at the lowest it's been, because in places that, in urban centers, that I'm aware of, it's through the roof. Black homelessness, Black homelessness, Black unemployment, like it's through the roof. But here we go. I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to weigh in on that or if you had any.
My thing is they don't ever produce the numbers, the jobs that they're talking about when they make these blanket statements. So you have every right to ask like where, because you see in our cities, our Black people are out of work. And I hope you're not talking about our friend Obama was talking about. We're talking about the gig economy, which you're talking about your Ubers, your Lyfts. We're talking about DoorDash, Instacart. Now, those can blanket the market, but these are not jobs that have health benefits. These are not jobs that will give you a living wage. These are hustle from the hustle economy. So we need her to clarify when they say the job unemployment is down.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
People have a job.
Got to deal with
Well
the
done,
Give me
Viv.
4
You
seconds.
got the presents, the balloons, and the raptor cake.
Here we go.
In our community, we also have ambition, aspirations, incredible ideas. And the division between that and actually being able to put it to use is often about access to the relations to the capital that can take us from those good ideas to creating a business, starting a business, growing a business. So that's why I'm doing this tour.
Well, let's talk about this capital for entrepreneurs and small businesses, because that's been a really important part of your mandate here as vice president. But little do a lot of people know, you were doing this long before you even got to the White House. You have been a huge proponent about entrepreneurship dollars and stuff that's available now, and a lot of people are not aware. And there's a lot of, like you say, really brilliant people in this audience here who are entrepreneurs. The minds in this room is really startling, man. There's some really sharp people here, right? And if they only knew what was available for them. Tell us more about this work for small business and entrepreneurs.
So like you said, Steve, when I was in the United States Senate, I actually was responsible with a group of other senators for getting $12 billion more into our community banks. So the importance of community banks is they are, as they are called, they're in the community, led by members of the community. They are people who understand the capacity of the community, the needs of the community, the culture of the community. They are folks who, unlike the big banks, will see the dream that an individual has for what is possible. And instead of rejecting that dream because maybe it's something they've not heard before, they will listen to it and then give folks advice, including financial literacy advice, helping people know how to run a payroll, how to deal with inventory in a way that they can start a business and sustain that business and grow that business. So the money that we are putting in community banks.
Let's stop here because Brother T, I honestly just thought about the color of money. As soon as she started talking about community banks, and let's talk about that, family. Let me go to page 4. On page 4. Okay, so on page 4, they're talking about the New Deal programs. President Roosevelt, when he got in office, he proposed the New Deal programs. So it's a whole bunch of these programs, policies that he passed. You know, the FHA, the GI Bill, right? He did a lot. The Public Housing Act, Brother T, I think was a part of it. It was a whole lot of. So it says right here on page 4, it says the New Deal programs. It says that would have sent aid to build housing in the urban ghetto, were instead used to create white suburbs that reinforce the perpetuated racial segregation. All right, let me not get into that. Let me go to the other one. Let me go. Let me see. I'll read from there, Brother T. So it starts there. So let me start over. It says the New Deal programs that would have sent aid to build housing in the urban ghetto were instead used to create white suburbs that reinforced and perpetuated racial segregation for the rest of the country. It says, and as soon as the Civil Rights Coalition began to demand some form of wealth redistribution on poverty aid, President Nixon embraced black capitalism, right? You all start hearing this thing, black capitalism, black capitalism. But it was Nixon administration that actually started pushing black capitalism. It says right here, support for black banking and black capitalism have been consistent policy band-aid solutions, a decoy response to the fundamental challenge of overcoming Americans' legacy of slavery. Now, here we go. We're getting ready to get in the community banking family. It says the theory of black banking is rooted in the fundamental tenet of American banking policy. Thomas Jefferson believed that banks should be small and local, as opposed to Alexander Hamilton's vision of large national banks. Jefferson's ideal was locally controlled economy, agrarian in nature, with decentralized monetary policy, but he was on the wrong side of history. Okay, because it says that it said it is Hamilton's centralized national and large banking sector that became essential to the vibrant American economy. And so that is what community banks were born out of, that whole idea that was put forth by Thomas Jefferson. And in this book, the author talks about how that did not work. The community banking, it did not work. And largely in part because the community banks weren't funded by the federal government. Brother T, did you want to add?
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you do point this out in this book. So with those who do have the book, please go to page 4 where Dr. Maat was reading from. I'm just going to continue to on that point, because the black banks promised to control the black dollar. This is what the small decentralized monetary that Jefferson was talking about, the small bank that can help out communities. So the black banks promised to control the black dollar and grow it. And if the color of the ghetto was black, so too would be the money flowing within it.
Come on.
Now, this is an issue that we have now with Kamala talking to the 100 black men who our friend and the big coon, the big person interviewing her stated that these people understand business. Of course, they're part of a professional platform. Okay, they may understand money a little differently, but we got to understand that the black bank never ever took care of us by ourselves. She wants to include other people. So when we talk about this and about money taking care of us, we got to understand that the money's supposed to take care of us only. The money's supposed to flow to our communities only, based off black banks promise to control the black dollar and grow it. If the color of the ghetto was black, so too would be the money flowing within. Blacks must control the economy of our community. This is said by Malcolm X, right?
That's
now,
right.
President Reagan believed that black enterprises are especially important in neighborhood economies where the dollars spent and have benefit multiple effect. But could a ghetto born from racism and segregation overcome those forces through banking? Or was James Baldwin right when he wrote, "A ghetto can be improved in only one way, out of existence"? So this book breaks down that information. So you got to be real careful of the cunning words that you use when it comes down to it. Later on in this chapter, it also talks about what the black bank or what the officials of the bank will teach African Americans, descendants of slavery, about understanding how banking should work, like educational classes. Now, these are all beneficial, but we know that these banks didn't really dive into commercial banks or what they can do, because it only was a place for them to park the money. It wasn't a place that they can really grow their money.
That's right.
This bank was the only bank, if we're talking about Freedman Bank, correct? Freedman Bank was the only bank that was began by the federal government at any time in history. And it benefited the federal government because the monies didn't just set. It also went to federal loans. So it benefited. It didn't get an opportunity to get put in the stock market or get put in investments that would make it grow and really benefit the hundreds of thousands of people who put the money into it. It wasn't a benefit for us. So we had to make sure that what they're saying Are these programs really going to benefit us in the long run?
That's right.
Because do they have legs to walk and hands to grab?
That's right. That's right. So I'm listening to this, T. And as soon as she said community banks, I said, I read that somewhere. The color of money. So she's pitching this idea, community banks. And let's hear what else she has to say, family.
Is intentional in that it is there that we believe there is going to be the greatest opportunity for folks in the community to actually do the work that is about entrepreneurship. Since I've been vice president, I also created what's called the Economic Opportunity Council, and I got the big banks and big tech companies to invest private equity into community banks. And we're on track to getting $3 billion more into community banks because of that partnership.
What was your thought about that, Brother T, when you heard that, when she said that the big tech companies and so some of those folks, $3 billion to I guess they're going to put some of their assets, because it said some of their assets in these banks. What were your thoughts about that when you heard her say that, Brother T?
If their assets are put into the banks, I mean, you have to define their relationship. Are they putting their money in the bank in order to help it to grow so the bank has capital? It's going to be a way for people who put the money into the bank able to invest and make profits off of these new investors. You got to explain the relationship. Right now, it's just like someone said in the chat, it's just fancy talk.
That's all it is.
You have to explain the relationship and how we're going to benefit. When we look at 401ks, 403bs, depending on where you work, those companies supposed to be giving us a percentage of maybe 12 to 24%, depending on the year, how the stock market looks. This has to be explained. Tech companies are bailing out, firing many people right now.
Yes, they are.
By the thousands. So that is like, as they say, fruit salad when it comes down to what she's explaining. It doesn't mean anything unless you tell me, explain the relationship and how is that a benefit for them to invest in the banks.
Absolutely.
And there's a specific piece of that that's very important. You know that VCs, venture capitalists, only 2% of their investments go to Black businesses, right? We also know that Black folks are 1/3, I think the number is 3 times less likely to apply for business loans. And a big part of that is that nobody likes to be disappointed, right? And the feeling, rightly, after so many things can disappoint, that I don't want to go for it and then be rejected. So again,
that's the biggest lie, Brother T. So Black people don't apply for business loans because we don't want, because of fear of disappointment and fear of rejection. That's not true. A lot of Black people don't apply for business loans because when you apply for a business loan, you need assets, Brother T. Right. Hold on, wait a minute. Look at this, Brother T. And in this book, one of the hidden costs of being an African American is the lack of what he defines as transformative assets.
That's right.
Come on, Brother T. What page was that on, Brother T? Could you read that? Could you find that for me? I'm going to the index right now. Let's define transformative assets. I'm looking for it right now, Brother T. QRST. I'm in the index.
Okay.
That's why Black folks don't. And why are you looking for up, Brother T? It says page 10 and page 31.
Okay.
Page 10 and page 31. Let me go to page 10 with you all.
Right, and I'll find it on 31.
Yeah, page 10. Where is it, Brother T? Oh, I got it right here, Brother T. It says, to get a better analytic handle on this phenomenon, I will use the concept of transformative assets, inherited wealth, lifting a family beyond their own achievements. Let's read that one more time, Brother T. Transformative assets. It says inherited wealth, okay, lifting a family beyond their own achievements, okay? So he says this concept of transformative assets is not meant to belittle achievements on successes of families. It says who inherit significant amounts, but it does suggest that in many cases there is something else involved. Right? Are you with me, brother
Mm-hmm.
T? It says many of the families I spoke to relied on transformative assets to acquire. It says their class standing. What else,
Mm-hmm.
brother T? Social status, home ownership, the kind of community they live in, and their children's schooling. Black people, and when he says the families he spoke to, he's
Mm-hmm.
talking about white families. Okay,
Right.
family. He's talking about white families, and he's saying, hold on, that what did these transformative assets allow them to do? It allowed them to acquire their class standing, social status, home ownership, the
Mm-hmm.
kind of community they live in, and their children's schooling. Black people lack transformative assets because of slavery, because of Jim Crow, because of systematic racism,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Right.
lack transformative assets. So, how can we go to a bank, brother T, and say, you know what, I want to apply for $100,000 business loan?
Gotta have collateral.
You got to have collateral. Let me give you a story. There was a brother, and in Baltimore, you all can Google him. He owns a restaurant called Collins. The restaurant used to be on Liberty Road out Randallstown. Now the restaurant is in East Baltimore, off of Northern Parkway in Lock Raven. And
Okay.
I sat with the brother T, and I asked him, I said, brother, how did you get this restaurant? What happened? He said, man, Doc, he said, I went to several banks. He said, I actually had a restaurant, like a carry out before I got this restaurant. He said, man, I sold my carry out. You know, I had some money. I went into a couple of banks. He said, man, and he said, they just kept telling me it wasn't enough. Now, this was a business owner who
Mm-hmm.
had a successful carry out. He didn't have enough. His mother, brother T, she put her house up. She put her house down as collateral, and he
Right.
was able, he was able to get $1 million loan from Bank of America, to start the Collins in Randallstown, Maryland. He got $1 million loan, but not only did he needed to get, he had to sell his business, which he did. He had the money, but his mother had to put up her house. Now he's a little older than me, so his mother is what? A boomer. So he was connected. Remember, you and I talked about that, and you talked about how.
Is that parental welfare? That was
Come
given?
on, parental, brother T. Can you get to that? Can you define parental welfare so the family know what we're talking about? Let's get to parental welfare. So thank you, brother T. His mother had transformative assets. His mother gave him parental welfare. That's how he was able to get that $1 million loan from Bank of America to start his restaurant. And it's no shot at him. I'm just giving you the story.
Right.
A lot of us don't have that. A lot of us don't have your mother has a paid off house somewhere that you can use as collateral. So she's sitting on
Damon John,
right? That part, brother T. Can you plug that? Can you tell him that story? That's the brother that owned Fubu. Tell him that story.
Yes,
brother.
I mean Damon John went for years, and shout out to Damon John for finally coming up and telling the true story. Damon John went for years telling us he took his hat and he took a shirt and sold outside his car, and then he found some way to get it on LL Cool J's hat on LL Cool J's head, and the rest is history. But what he failed to tell you is that it wasn't just him hustling outside his car out the trunk. It was a gift from his mother. Her mother wound up moving in with her man and allowed Damon and his boys to use the house that she lived in as collateral. Not just as collateral, but the first sweatshop that make all of the garments for Fubu. So if it wasn't for the parental welfare, see, inheritance, we got to understand, they call it a parent thing. It's something that is passed down to a next generation when someone dies. But parental welfare is when you are still living and still benefit from what your parents have. And you'll hear her say about business, well, going into the banks, well, you need collateral. And we understand that the biggest wealth transfer didn't happen today. It happened from all the benefits that the government gave to the boomers. The boomers are the biggest wealth transfer for the day. So order for Damon John to benefit from what he could build in a clothing industry, he had to go back to his mama. His mama gave back that house. The house was able to get equity. From the equity, he used it to expand the business, because we know that business cannot go anywhere unless it's scalable. Okay,
Absolutely.
big business.
Absolutely. I'm on here right now. Parental welfare. It's at the bottom of page 61, Brother T.
There we go.
It
Parental
says
welfare. Go ahead.
you want to go ahead and read it, Brother T? Go ahead. I read the last one. Go ahead.
So we got parental wealth measure. So it goes ahead. That's what chapter, the last paragraph, correct?
Yes. So hold on. Can you start with the last line of the paragraph before that, where it says, nonetheless, net worth is the single amount, right? A piece of information about the prospective capacity of parents to assist. Come on. Can you start right there?
Nonetheless, net worth is a single most important piece of information about the prospective capacity of parents to assist their adult children. I mean, say adult children financially at critical times, like buying the first home or paying for a private schooling. The parental wealth measure captures the capacity of parents to give their children a head start in life. Okay, so the parental, then it goes into it showing a chart. But if it wasn't for having some collateral, now if you don't have it, you may have the idea, but you just can't go into a bank saying I have an idea. They're gonna say, what do you have behind it?
That's right.
That can fuel it. You got to have some skin in the game, especially to scale big business. Now, maybe my little coin business, I got a couple coins here, Dr. Maat. I go to the coin store and go buy them. I get in my car and say, hey, I got $30.
Right.
I'm going to make the ring, and I'm going to make $100 off this coin. That's small business. That's me just doing a hustle. Let me tell you something. To do big business, you need big funding. You need a bank. You need some backing. You need some collateral. That's what she's saying that we need. And we afraid of rejection? No, we're afraid that we're not going to get it because we don't have the parental wealth that was passed down to us. Our jobs are not enough. Tell the truth. Don't tell the truth. And then come on, we're going to go to the next clip. Come on.
Keep going. I like when you go in, Brother T. Like, tell the truth.
Go to the next clip.
Brother T, like, tell the truth. But shout out to the Queen Mother, Amina. She said, absolutely. She said, my coworker gave each of her two children $50,000 a piece to purchase their first homes. Come on. $50,000 a piece. How many? The average Black person can't do that. They would if they could, but they can't.
How much can that help?
They can't. Brother T, I'm looking even in my family. My aunt Segmet, she's in the chat, family. Let me tell you, a lot of us come from humble beginnings. Our families come out of the South. Yeah. My grandmother was born in 1933. Her, 1933. I don't even think my grandmother finished middle school. Auntie, tell me in the chat. I think that my grandmother had maybe a 5th or 6th grade education. My mother actually, when she grew up and became a teacher and she taught night school, oh my goodness, at Harvard Institute, Brother T. Remember Harvard Institute?
That's right.
At Harvard Institute, my mother was a teacher at Harvard Institute, and she worked 2 jobs, right? She worked 2 jobs. I'm up here sweating. She worked 2 jobs, and at night she would teach adults how to read. And so my grandmother actually went, like my mother taught her mother how to read, how to write. I believe, Auntie, tell me in the chat if that's true. I think my grandmother went to the classes, but I know my mother taught her mother that. And my grandmother, she had to drop out of school. You know, she had to go work, and she said on a tobacco, she said tobacco. That's what she used to say, the tobacco farms. I had to work on a tobacco farm in Sumter County, South Carolina. So she ain't had time to finish school. They was pulling them kids out of school and making them kids work, on a tobacco farm. And so my grandmother, just like a lot of Black women in her day and age, remember our job prospects were limited. You were either a domestic worker, so you were cleaning houses. My mother shared with me that my grandmother used to clean houses over in Park Heights where the Jewish people live. She would go there and she would clean their houses. And so she was cleaning. She did domestic work. She went over to Shepherd Pratt. She worked in the laundry department. But guess what? She made sure, Brother T, that all of her children graduated from high school. Okay. every last one of them, my grandmother had 7 children. She made sure that every last one of them, and my aunt said, true story. She made sure every last one of her children graduated from high school. Okay. And so think about that. She wasn't able, Brother T, to generate a bunch of assets to pass down to her 7 children. My mother's generation, my aunt who's here, my mother's generation, their generation is the first generation that will be able to do that in our bloodline. Right. They will be able to do that. They got life insurance policies, and stuff like that, houses and stuff like that. So they'll be able to do that. But my grandmother could not do that. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and it's like a lot of us are in the same boat. That's so can you imagine if my mother and them would have went to the bank, Brother T, and say, I want to get a business loan. You start, and they was kind of start. I almost said they was starting from scratch, but they were in a sense. You get what I'm saying, Brother T?
You're absolutely right. They were.
Yeah.
I mean, this book goes on to tell you some more. The hidden cost of being African American. This is the book that we was reading from. Talks about the ability to take net worth. An average net worth of an African American family was $46,000 if they had a home, and compared to a white family, $200,000. Who's able to make more money moves with $46,000 net worth? If you take money equity from their house, the mortgage is going to go up if you're not finished paying for it. Or someone who got $200,000 net worth, they may got a little bit more assets that they can pull from, not just from the house. These are things you explained perfectly, Dr. Maat. How grandma had a black job. They said we didn't have black jobs. See, black jobs didn't give us the ability to make sure we put money away for 20 years from down the line, to make sure we had enough money to put for our child's wedding, make sure they go to the school of choice or start that business. Black jobs didn't give us the fuel that we needed. They gave us the money to live paycheck to paycheck, but not the ability to really live how we're supposed to live. So it's like, come on, we have to be realistic and listen to what's being said out these people's mouth. This woman said unemployment is down, but did she say that there's jobs that can really move us to that next level to do what we have to do? She did not say that. She will not say that because they cannot produce that.
Brother T, hit the horn for yourself. That was a beep, 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 beep. You got to hit that.
You know what I'm saying?
You got to hit that, Brother T.
Come on now.
Oh, man. So that's what I wanted to address in this particular clip, the community banks and her rationale as to why Black people do not apply for business loans. Are there anything before I move to the next video, Brother T, that you wanted to address?
Let's keep on rolling.
You want to keep going? Just okay, go to the next clip.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, here we go. All right, so the next clip, and this is short. Kamala, she went to the Freedman's Bank forum. Okay, she went to the Freedman's Bank forum and she delivered, some remarks. Okay, and so let's listen to what she had to say at the Freedman Bank's forum. Here we go.
Good afternoon. Good.
You know what? Before we do that, Brother T, can we go to the Color of Money and let the people know what the Freedman Bank was? Yes. Yeah, I'm like, because we like the Freedman Bank, and I don't want to take for granted. Some people might be like, "What the hell are you talking about? The Freedman's Bank?" Could you walk us back in time, Brother T? And I'm gonna look for the page as well.
Okay, we go here. Back in time, when we read The Color of Money. Page 22.
Page 22. I'm getting there. Page 22.
You look at the last paragraph of page 22. It talks about the Freedman Saving and Trust Company, also known as the Freedman Savings Bank. It was the first and only savings bank created by the federal government. Blacks had not asked for that bank. That's good. Let's go ahead and say what we say. What? The blacks did not ask for this bank. Why was this bank given to us? Because they took our land, they destroyed a whole bunch of stuff, right? They took a lot of stuff from us. But we didn't ask for a bank. We wanted the ability to have our own land, to build our own houses, to build our own resources. They said, nah, give them a bank. Give them a bank. So I wanted to make sure I read that. Let me read that again.
Read that one more time, Brother T.
The Freedman Savings and Trust Company, also known as the Freedman Savings Bank, was the first and only savings bank created by the federal government. We should knew something was wrong right then and there.
That part.
Okay. Blacks had not asked for the bank, but land grants having been foreclosed by violence and Southern retrenchment, the bank was a stand-in. Instead of giving us back what they took from us, they said, put the bank there. Just like they took away 40 acres and a mule, which gave us the ability to have our own land, to till it, to grow it, to profit from it. They took that away from us and give them a job. Just give them some more years enslavement. But we're gonna call it by another name. But we'll go into that when we read that book. Okay. So understand that Freedman Bank was a stand-in. Let's look at the history, because Kamala is not going to mention that in this snippet.
No, she's not.
Okay. So I just want to make sure we got that under wraps. We got to get this book, family, so you can go back and really understand exactly why we're giving pushback to what she's putting out. Okay.
Right.
All right. So let's go back and say it says that the reformers promised that the Black community, that the bank was the preferred and proper means by which they would achieve land ownership on their own. They sold the story. The way you're going to get home ownership is by a $25,000 loan. My bad. You got to pay your rent 2 years without fail. My bad. And your mother and father couldn't have a house. My bad. So you can't get no help, no parental. You can't qualify. My bad. It didn't say that. It said that the bank's founder, John Alvord, said that the freedmen have a passion for land and that the bank will provide the way. So see the tricks. They trying to go at the Freedmen's Bureau and they trying to sell us an opportunity to get land again, but with all these
stipulations. Obstacles. Yeah.
Let's give them the carrot and let them chase. Not the bank. Chase the dream. As I mean, we gotta be real. But I love this book because it told the truth.
Yes, it did.
They sold the bank. They always sell us a bank. Remember a couple of years ago, Killer Mike, Charlemagne, put your $100 in this bank. It's going to give us freedom. They always sell us the bank and the opportunity to get the land. But it's always like that commercial with the person holding, I gotcha. They pull the dollar back real quick. It's another got you moment. I'm just letting you know. Absolutely.
But they said he founded the guy. Let me see. It said, what was his name? John Alvord. I thought that Lincoln had something to do with it. This is the savings. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember, the president always takes the credit.
Got you.
It was Emancipation Proclamation, and he gave us a black bank.
Right.
But the stipulations is what we had to understand. Now, go ahead, Dr. Michael. I got some else to read.
Yeah. And I just want to, I hope I'm not jumping ahead, but they was telling Black folks to put their money in this bank. And then remember, initially it started off as like a savings bank. And then the bank board members, I remember the two white dudes that were running everything, they were like, no, we want to get it a charter. We want to start issuing loans. And remember, Brother T, they started gambling with the money and then they messed the money up. And they closed that bank and they said Black people lost over 2 million. Oh, it was 3, Brother T?
$3 million today.
Oh my, $3 million a day. So it was 2 million then, $3 million today. And we were like fresh out of slavery. It wasn't like, we were literally fresh out of slavery, put about $2 million in this bank family, and the banks closed, didn't give the Black folks none of their money back. None of their money back. And no one was ever held accountable for what they did. Brother T, you said you wanted to read something else.
So it states here, these banks different from commercial banks on the time because commercial banks made loans on speculative investments.
Oh, what page are you on, Brother T?
I'm on page 24, first paragraph.
Okay, let's go.
These banks different from commercial banks of the time because commercial banks made loans on speculative investments. The purpose of the saving bank was to hold money instead of growing it through lending. The charter of the Freedmen's Bank was almost a copy of the New York City Savings Charter. These banks were usually charitable institutions, once again, meant to teach working men the lessons of thrift, industry, and care for the future. Congress described it as a teaching institution to instruct freed slaves about American values or to instill into the minds of the untutored African lessons of sobriety, wisdom, and economy, values that were integral to the economic industrial development of a people. I read that part because as we did the last clip, she said that that's what it was going to teach us, how to do certain things. They go by the same playbook, ladies and gentlemen. The same playbook. They say, let me just change the words because someone maybe they didn't read The Color of Money, Black Banks, and the Racial Wealth Gap. I'm just going to change it a little bit, and I'm going to go right to the Freedmen's Bureau, and I'm going to speak like they don't know what the game is. Come on now.
Brother T, I gotta hit that horn. Hit that horn there. Yo.
That horn's on my other play. I had it by next year.
I like that. Yeah. I love that, Brother T. But you're right. It's the same playbook. It's the same playbook. Like you said, we might change the language just a tad bit, but it's the same thing. Give them a bank. She's sitting there. I'm gonna give them she's gonna put a community bank in the hood, Brother T.
Banks are supposed to be vehicle to make sure our money do what we want it to do, not just the whole. You know what I'm saying? If your bank, your money's not invested, it's just a saving. You might leave it under your pillow.
Come on.
Leave it under your mattress. That's why our ancestors did not care for these banks. And the nerve of this woman going to this bank, when you play that clip, is she going to mention that the money was stolen? Is she going to mention that the money was given back to the descendants? Let's see. Let's roll that beautiful beam footage.
Yeah, let's roll the clip. Let me see. Like you said, is she gonna say that? We know, Brother T, she isn't. She's not going to tell the people the truth, but we are. Let's go. Here we go. Where is it?
Good afternoon. Please have a seat. Good afternoon. And to our incredible Secretary, Janet Yellen, thank you for welcoming us. Thank you for hosting us. And thank you for your partnership. I think you all, many of you here have worked with our Secretary, with Janet Yellen, over the years, and you know that she's an extraordinary fighter for the working people of America. And she's been an extraordinary partner to me and the President as we work on the issue of ensuring that all people in our nation have the ability and the capacity to realize their dreams, and that access to capital will not be a barrier to those achievements. So thank you, Secretary Yellen, and everyone here. This is a room full of leaders. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. So I will begin with some history, which I think is familiar with many people in this room, but there are many who are not familiar with the history of Freedman's Bank. So Freedman's Savings Bank was founded by the United States Congress in 1865. It was a bank unlike any other our nation had known. Freedman's Bank was established to serve Black Americans newly freed from slavery, to help them build wealth and to build a better future. At Freedman's, to open a
Brother T, you know it wasn't to build no wealth. Brother T, she started the speech lying already. It wasn't to build. Okay, let me just keep it rolling.
No. Look what you left it on. Look her face. You can tell that's come on now. Let it sit. Come on, take us off and let that sit for a second. I want to see.
I put it up.
This. We need people to see exactly that part. That look like another lie is about to come out.
Another lie about to come out. Oh my God.
You seen the facial expression. She's like, you know what? I hope they eating this.
Oh, they eating it.
I hope they eating this cake that I'm serving.
Oh, here we go, Brother T. She said to build wealth. Oh my goodness.
In a savings account, you just needed 5 cents, which as I've calculated is about $1 today. In the years after its founding, tens of thousands of Black families opened an account at Freedman's. They saved up to buy a farm, to build a home, to open a business. Even school children saved their pocket money to deposit it in this institution. And then 9 years later, after the bank first opened its doors, because of an economic downturn and because of the organized assault on the project of reconstruction, Freedman's bank was forced to close.
Hold on, Brother T. We gotta address that, man. Let me go to the color of money. Let's go to the color of money. Where's the Freedman's bank? I want to read that paragraph on why it closed, Brother T. Let me look.
Did she say?
She said it.
Organized destruction of the reconstruction. She didn't say that the people stole the money.
The people stole the money.
Did she didn't say they had to close? Not even Frederick Douglass couldn't save it.
Right, even Frederick Douglass couldn't save it.
Did she say that people didn't get their money back?
No, she ain't say that, Brother T.
She talked about how inflation made what the 5 cents that they could put in, because it was a 5 cent deposit you had to put in. It would be $1 today. Did she talk about how much money would it be today that was stolen and people still didn't get back?
Right.
People was afraid to send their transport booklets because they knew they wasn't going to get their money. It's like, come on now.
Well, she left out a whole lot, Brother T. I'm up here looking for it right now. Like you said, Douglass couldn't even save it. Where is it? That's the 40 acres. Where are we? I'm trying to look for it, Brother T. Freedman's Bureau could not survive the violence and chaos that followed the. All right, President Andrew.
I can't believe she just said that.
Oh, with a straight face.
They hope that you don't know.
Absolutely.
That you don't look. And they know if they can hide it, if you don't look, you'll never be told. And you'll fall for this. She should. Come on now. She want to speak this in front of the bureau. Who's in the audience? The brother on the side should have stopped instantly sign language and then looked at her like,
like, what are you talking about? I can't find it in here yet, Brother T. I don't want to hold y'all up. We'll continue. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. And what happened to the bank is definitely very detailed in this book. But Brother T, if you could find it while we keep,
Okay.
keep it going.
Over 60,000 people lost their savings. Now, Freedman's bank was guided by a vision. The vision of an economy that works for all Americans and includes all Americans. The vision of...
That's not true, Brother T. She threw in the all Americans.
Right. It wasn't. Go ahead, Brother T. I know you're about to say this.
This was her connecting to putting in other minorities. The Freedman Bank was a specific reason why it was put together. It was for the slaves to start their own bank. And say all Americans.
Americans, not at all.
Where did it say all Americans? This is when they put that inclusion. When they use our platforms and then they take away what's benefiting to us.
That's
to include everybody else. It just waters it down.
Absolutely.
So we caught this. This is the first part that we caught of her adding the inclusion base.
Facts.
Of a nation in which all people have access to the financial resources they need to succeed, to thrive, and to determine their own future. Truly at the heart of that bank was the concept of self-determination. Over a century and a half later, in communities across our nation, that vision remains unrealized. Consider, today, Black entrepreneurs are 3 times more likely to report that they did not apply for a loan for fear of being turned away by a bank.
And why was that fear? The fear was because we don't have transformative assets, right? We don't have parental welfare. Here we go.
Often anecdotally, because they heard about that experience from friends and relatives. Today, Black and Latino homeowners are rejected by
why did you see Brother T.I. switch from Black and then it went to Black and Latino. But she getting ready to add some more folks.
traditional financial institutions at a higher rate when applying for home loans. And this is the case even when they have credit profiles similar to other applicants. Today, many immigrant business owners, including some Asian American business owners, face language barriers that limit their ability to access capital and banking services. And people who live in rural areas, including many Native Americans, often lack access to traditional financial services of any kind. So President Biden...
I just have a question, Brother T. Would that be like the color of law? Remember how I talked about redlining and how based on where you live, like your area code or your zip code, you would have access to, you would or would not have access to certain things. Is that kind of like from here, Brother T?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
And I know that for our nation to succeed, these disparities must be spoken of, acknowledged, and addressed. One of the last actions, as you heard Secretary Yellen mentioned, I took as a United States Senator was to team up with Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Mark Warner and Senator Cory Booker and Chairwoman, Maxine Waters, to invest $12 billion in community lenders, which of course are financial institutions that predominantly do business in overlooked and underserved communities. Last month, I was proud to announce that because of that hard work and the work of many of the leaders in this room, our administration has distributed more than $8 billion of that investment to 162 community lenders across our nation. That is $8 billion on the ground in communities across our nation right now.
And everybody's clapping and no one's saying, what are the qualifications to access this capital, right? You just can't go in there with your ID, right, Brother T? And they say, we'll write you a check. Who qualified?
So I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
Play it one more time, Brother T.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
Brother T, here we go.
That part.
Right, that part.
And I'll share with you some of the examples. In North Dakota, Native American Bank lent $10 million to help fund an opioid addiction treatment facility on tribal lands. In Georgia, Carver Bank lent over $500,000 to help Black-owned companies build affordable housing. And in Mississippi, Hope Credit Union, led of course by the great Bill Bynum, lent $10,000 to a Black-owned and woman-owned coffee company to help them expand. And that's just one example of the incredible work that they do there. Since taking office, then I will tell you, I have traveled our nation and spoken with small business owners who have received funds from community lenders. And I have seen what it means in terms of acknowledging, recognizing, and then feeding their ambition and aspiration and creativity, both in terms of their own aptitude and capacity, but also because they are in the best position to understand the needs and the capacity of their communities. And I've seen how they use that capital to hire people from the community, to open a new storefront on the main street, how they buy inventory from local businesses. The whole community benefits in one way or another, economically, not to mention psychically, from their presence. And at the same time, I have also seen how the great need for capital still remains in our country, meaning how much more work we still have yet to do. You know, I hope and know that everyone here does get the opportunity to travel our country. And from my travels, I will share with you There are so many people in our country that have incredible dreams, fueled by their ambition, fueled by their aspiration, fueled by seeing what is possible and then going for it. But far too many still lack the resources and the support to make those dreams a reality. And what ends up happening then is these entrepreneurs cannot access capital to start a business. We're talking about families who then cannot access the capital they need to buy a home, students who cannot access capital to get an education because they live in an underserved community, and because often they also do not have the benefit of intergenerational wealth. We need to address this because, again, there is a complete disconnect between their inability to grow and the fact that they are so talented and desirous of doing just that. So let's deal with that disconnect, which we also refer to as disparities, because we see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. And that's why we talk about equity, because we recognize not everybody starts out on the same base. They don't start out in the same place, even though they have the same God-given capacity. So when we talk about the work we are doing here together, it is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity. And to do this, one of the aspects of the success we have seen so far is the benefit and the incredible power of public-private partnership. The public and the private sector joining together. And what we have been doing and must do more is to combine the expertise and the experience of the private sector with the reach and the scale that only the government can provide. And together, that is what we have done so far, which has resulted in the success we have seen. As Secretary Yellen mentioned, earlier this year, we launched the Economic Opportunity Coalition. This coalition consists of over 20 private sector organizations. It includes technology companies, philanthropies, and some of the largest consumer banks and investment firms. And together, these private sector leaders have committed tens of billions of dollars to promote and then provide capital to community lenders, to support entrepreneurship and minority-owned businesses.
Brother T, I got a lot to say about that minority word, you know, because she's at the Freedman's Bank Forum and she's talking about all of this capital that is being raised to support, she says, entrepreneurship and minority-owned businesses.
Right.
And you and I both know that when she says minority, it's not just
Really
us.
be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people.
Ain't gonna benefit Black people. So you're talking about closing the racial wealth gap with these umbrella policies. You know, like, and so she said minority owned could be a white woman. You know, like I remember when I went to the American Society of Engineering Education conference, and we were I published a paper in their category entitled Broadening Participation. And I got an honorable mention. My team got an honorable mention. So when I say I understand, family, that I have an entire team behind me that I'm extremely grateful for. And so we got the honorable mention. And there was a white woman. She beat us out. And her paper was on white high school girls having mentors. And I was like, well, wait a minute. This is supposed to be broadening participation, which focuses on diversity. How did she get it? And one of the men there told me, they said, Doc, because they're talking about white girls, white women it's everybody except the white man. That means it's diverse because you're talking about white girls. And I was like, what? He said, yeah. He said, when black people hear the word diverse, we think race, right? It's multiracial. It's a bunch of races, right? He said, but it takes on a different meaning to white folks. White folks look at it as diversity because it's white girls. It's everybody but white men. And I was like, what? And that's how she was able to win. So her paper was considered diverse because it focused on white girls in STEM, and they considered that broadening participation. Like, yes, thank you, just because white straight men. So it includes everybody. When you say diversity, it includes everyone. Thank you, except white straight men. So when
and to expand access to financial services, and to create and protect affordable housing. And today, this coalition has committed more than $1 billion to community banks serving minority and rural communities. So all of our work thus far, we still have more to do. All of our work thus far, I believe, comes down to this. America is a nation driven by the ambition and aspiration of her people. And so let us continue to fight to make sure all people have a chance to realize their dreams and to determine their own future. Because when we do, we not only advance economic justice, we strengthen our economy as a whole, creating prosperity and opportunity for all. Together, we here know we have the ability and the responsibility and the duty, dare I say, to realize the vision of Freedman's Bank.
And nothing she described is realizing the vision of Freedman's Bank. The bank was established for black people to save their money in order to acquire land. That was the premise of the bank.
Counterfeit capitalism.
Right. Come on, man. So
I
mean, it's like 13 seconds. I think this is about it, though, family.
And that is what we have gathered here to do. So thank you all so very much for your vision, for your commitment, and your work. Thank you.
Yeah, that was it, Brother T. Like, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Especially when she started talking about like the private and public sector working together. What do you think about that, Brother T?
Well, you have to understand exactly what's happening right now in government. The private sector is getting sick of government meddling, but they still need funding here and there, so they'll work together. Private don't have to hire you because you're black. They just hire you because they want you. Maybe you have the skill that they need. So a lot of these private sectors are operating in their own rules, regulations, creating their own systems. So her adding that in, I guess, not excluding them from getting things from her that they need, because that's the biggest argument now. The private sector is growing. Think about the housing situation. A lot of that is big business, BlackRock buying up a lot of the homes. So that's big business. That's the private sector. So we have to consider that when we look at building our communities up and make sure we talk about funding. How are we going to be helped, really? And it went on. I couldn't find what we was looking for because that chapter has so many pages.
Yes, I know. I was, yeah.
But I did want to read about the capitalism. It said about counterfeit capitalism later on in this chapter.
Which page, Brother T?
Let's go to page 33. Okay. It goes to page 33. We talk about the second paragraph, and we can wrap it up here on this one here. It says, such was the allure of the counterfeit capitalism. Because we've been sold business. We've been sold that we are part of the big American dream, right? But we got to realize no bank can work as a saving loan by itself. It had to be included in lending credit so we can gain interest. Our banks was not, that bank, Freedman banks, were not allowed to do that. So it goes on to talk about counterfeit capitalism, such as the allure of counterfeit capitalism. It had such a convincing semblance to the real thing that it was able to conceal the fact that blacks were still being consumed by capitalism as opposed to fully participating in the capital production.
Woo!
The reality of Reconstruction was that the Southern plantation economy still exploited black labor. And through the Freedman Bank, the Northern capitalist economy also exploited black capital. The bank was an elective decoy, but blacks were not in control of their economic destiny. We are continually put in the trick bag.
Whew.
And if we don't understand the policies and break it down and just examine it, examining a policy, going back to research what a person say, it's not a bad thing, people. Do not let anyone make you feel bad for examining what a person says. Because this woman, with her food salad that she does, with her word salad, she puts everything in, chops it up, and say, okay, here, I'm serving this to you. It's up for you to pick out what parts you may be allergic to. I can't eat that tomato. Can't eat that. It's going to irritate me. It's going to irritate our communities. It's going to keep us back. It's going to make us sick.
Right.
It's not going to make us effective. When a person has something like a word salad, we got to make sure we understand this. Study it. Everything she say, dissect it, which we've done by looking at these books to understand that, hey, they feed us another dream.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Brother T, before we get out of here, I got to give the Tap Dancer of the Week award out. And so, Brother T, this week's Tap Dancer of the Week award goes to Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and D.L. Hughley. Here we go, family.
All three of them.
D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, you have won the Tap Dancer of the Week award from your sister, Dr. Maat. Please send me a mailing address so I can send you a new pair of tap dancing shoes. Gotta give it to them. And they get the Tap Dancer of the Week award, Brother T, because they did a lot of tapping. Ricky Smiley, he cried on air because he was upset because of the criticism that Kamala was facing. And so he was crying on air. You had Steve Harvey tell us to vote and ask for something later on. He was tapping real hard at that 100 Black Men meeting. He was tapping real hard. Then D.L. Hughley, he was tap dancing on his show. Then he went to the DNC. He tap danced some more. And so we want to make sure that, I know they wore their shoes out, Brother T. I know they wore those shoes out. So we want to make sure.
Pack.
Yeah, so we want to make sure, Brother T, that we give them some new shoes so they can continue on tap dancing. Brother T, do you have any closing words for the listening audience?
Well, I'm definitely going to send my Cash App so we can go ahead and support that that tap shoe effort. You know what I'm saying? Keep it rolling.
Thank you, Dr.
Maat. Thank you so much for putting this on your platform and allowing us to listen and to think critically about what's been put out there. There's a couple more days, less than 30 days. I don't know that she has till she wants to be called president of the United States.
Yeah.
But we got to remember this one thing, our family, is that we have to listen to what people say. We have to understand that everything that this woman put out, and it took a while to put her plan out, this came from 2020, when we had people like Darity speak to her, when people gave her a plan about reparations. All she did is circle around and put this information out. Remember, someone said, if you can't give them money, give them housing, give them land. She put up this $25,000. If you can't give them funding and loans, make sure they have a functioning bank. She did this at the Freedmen's Bureau. Everything she tap danced and sung to, she went to target our community, was based off that pushback when she tried to run her first election. Remember, she didn't listen then. She think that, hey, if I put it up a little bit, if I, add a little bit to it. But remember what she said when they asked the important question. What did they say? Remember what she said?
Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
So this was when she first ran. So most of these things and initiatives are what they tried to talk to her about on the first go around. Now, we could say, well, Brother T, Dr. Maat, she wasn't president. But remember, she was vice president. So she was in office. She do have time to put initiatives together. Do you not think she was going to try to run again?
That's right.
Let's not be bamboozled and fooled.
That's right. I couldn't agree with you more, Brother T. Brother T, I got to get you back on, man, because I definitely want to talk about that $25,000 housing plan. That she, the house, the $25,000, I think it was like a tax credit or something like that towards a house. And then she said, in the DNC, we heard a lot of speeches. Oprah spoke, D.L. Hughley spoke, Obama spoke, Clinton spoke. And so I really, really kind of want to, analyze the talking points of them. I really, really want to analyze it. Essentially what we did today. We put on our critical thinking caps, and we analyze what was being said to us. And so definitely, Brother T, talk to the wifey, ask if I could snatch you for about an hour and a half next Sunday to talk about the DNC. And I also wanted to talk about Cornel West's recent critique of Kamala, and maybe we could do it the same time next Sunday, but run it past the wifey, see if we can do it the same time next Sunday. Family, I thank you all for your times, your minds, and your behinds. Thank you so much for tuning in. You could have been anywhere in these YouTube streets, but you were right here with Dr. Maat and Brother JT Coin Rings. Make sure, family, that you support our platforms. I know Brother JT Coin Rings, he's on IG, he's on TikTok, he's on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell so that whenever he go live, you receive a notification. And same with me, family. I'm everywhere on social media. Subscribe to the channel.
See you at 20K real soon. 19,600 and something. Bring a friend next time. Everybody who came in, we all hit 100,000 people in the house today. Let's bring them all in so we can get to Dr. Maat the 20K by next time we do a live stream.
Let's do it. Let's do it, Brother T. So thank you so much for tuning in, family. Peace and Black excellence. BB Wan. Here we go, Brother T. I gotta play this brother Seth Fifth. This brother makes some melodic music and music for your soul and music for your mind. And I appreciate this warrior. And so anyway, he has this song about getting on cold. So here we go, family. Thank you for tuning in. Peace and Black excellence.
Says Fifth, keep raising the consciousness with your choosing light. Our time is now. It's only right for us to give our people the code. Introducing the 10 Black Commandments.
We've been programmed for years. It's time we wrote our own manual to rise above, follow code, and get tangibles. A step-by-step scripture for us to get our people intact. Bring my art back. Rule number 1, I will always love myself. That's the core to the wisdom, strength, beauty, and health. Eat good, live long, think abundance and wealth. Most of all, make sure my experience felt. Number 2, black first, go hard for the group. Check the date, we've been conquered by Urugu. They raped and killed the the planet for resources and goods, but as soon as we get on cold, the whole earth gonna be good. Number 3, warrior mode, protect community, physically, mentally, financially. Remember how they did us back in Black Wall Street? See, they ain't playing fair, we gotta train like Marines. Number 4, protect your fam at all costs. These cowards shoot kids and fake cry in court. The 5th is the key to us ending this war. We gotta share resources, show each other support. And on 6, I commit to educate my people. Ignorance is bliss, but intelligence is regal. 7 on my side, I'm gonna fight for my people. Maroon in my blood, I am not your good Negro. More like Bass Reeves, Jack Johnson, John Horst. Nice with the pistol, hand in hand, knife work. 8 live great cause the babies is watching. It's only right we show them more positive role models. And 9 is to be a better person every day. Promise to keep growing and learning in every way. Promise to live today better than yesterday. You see, heaven on earth is for those who partake. Number 10, I'm gonna leave a legacy and send power and enlightenment to all my future kin. Lead a planet better for generations to win and carry a pure heart so the gods let me back in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.